Hey everybody, General Motors Jeff here from Pro Chevrolet in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and today's truck that I want to show you is one that we do not get very often at all. This is a 2021 half-ton, so 1500 series GMC Sierra AT4, but it's not a regular AT4. This is the Carbon Pro Edition, and it's even got a diesel engine underneath that hood, and that is what we're going to look at today. All right, so 2021 GMC Sierra AT4 Carbon Pro Edition. Now, for those of you, let's just start off with what AT4 is if you're not familiar with the GMC Sierra lineup. Well, the AT4 is basically alongside the GMC Sierra Denali as the top trim level now that you can get in the Sierra lineup. And that is as of 2019 when they came out with this generation of truck. But there is some things, of course, that make this truck, the AT4, different than any other in the lineup, and of course differentiate it from the other top trim level, which would be the Denali or the SLT in that matter. In fact, I can actually trim out an AT4 to be as much or more money than a Denali right now. And speaking of money, why don't we just go over here, because I know a lot of you asked me this, and now this is something I've been doing at the start of my videos. Let's talk about the sticker price of this unit. Currently right now, a little blurry, $76,803 the way we have this Carbon Pro configured. Now, AT4, as I just said, let's talk about that. What makes the AT4 different? Well, right off the bat, you're gonna get these, the red tow hooks down here, okay? You're also gonna get a lot more paint match than you would in an SLT or Denali, where you're gonna see a lot more chrome. So you're gonna get the paint matched door handles. You're gonna get the black around the window sills as opposed to a polished or a chrome. You're gonna get the black mirror caps, okay? But one of the biggest things that differentiates this, of course, the paint match bumpers, by the way, sorry, as well. One of the biggest things that makes this different than any other of the Sierra lineup is the fact that it comes with a factory 2-inch suspension lift. So this sits higher than any other 1500 series GMC truck that we're offering right now. Okay, not to mention, it's gonna have some off-road looking aluminum wheels, and of course the off-road Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack tires, at least specifically on this one. These are an 18-inch wheel. So with the 18-inch wheel, you get the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack. If you have the option, which you do have the option for, a very similar looking wheel, but it's a 20-inch wheel, you'll get the Goodyear Territory, okay? Goodyear Wrangler Territory tires, which are also still aggressive, okay? Alongside the fact that it has the 2-inch lift, the aggressive tires, when you get the AT4, you automatically get the X31 package. If you're not familiar with what the X31 package is, it is the same as the Z71 or Z71 package in the Chevrolet Silverados, okay? So the Chevrolet Silverados and the GMC Sierra X31 and Z71 package are the same. And what that gets you is the Rancho shocks underneath, the higher intensity air cleaner, the skid plates down the middle, dual exhaust out the back, and the hill descent control on the inside. Those are some of the things you get with that off-road package, and that comes standard no matter what AT4 you get. Okay, but now let's talk about the Carbon Pro Edition. What are the things you get when it comes to the Carbon Pro Edition? Well, first and foremost, I know I already mentioned, but I want to talk about what's underneath the hood, because when you get the Carbon Pro Edition, you only have 2 different motor offerings. So there's normally about 3-4 different engines obviously that GMC makes right now. Well, more than that the GMC makes, but there's only 2 different options available underneath that hood, and that's where we're going next. All right, so as I mentioned off the top, the one that we have right behind us here is the awesome new, and I'm telling you, it is easily one of my favorite engines ever made by GMC, is this Duramax 3-liter 6-cylinder Duramax turbo diesel with as much torque. I am not kidding you, 460 foot-pound of torque, the same amount of torque that our 6.2 liter Monster 8-cylinder has. Speaking of that 6.2 liter Monster 8-cylinder, that is the other motor offering that you have available with the AT4. You're not able to get the 5.3, the 6-cylinder, the 2.7 liter 4-cylinder turbo. The only two options available with the Carbon Pro Edition are this awesome diesel and the 6.2 liter. All right, so one of the first differences when it comes to the Carbon Pro Edition is right here. See that grille surround? Now, the truck we're looking at right now is the satin steel metallic, which is easily one of my favorite colors. But what it's not doing us a favor of is showing us what is different right here, because when you get the Carbon Pro Edition, you're getting this black chrome grille surround, okay? Now, if you have a red truck, if you have a white truck, that's gonna be black chrome in the Carbon Pro, but actually you can't get a red Carbon Pro, but anyways, in a regular AT4, that right there would be paint match. So if it's a red truck or a white truck, that around there would be the paint matched color of the truck. So in this particular case, it's the black chrome, which makes it stand out. Another little thing is the different hard badging you're gonna get right here with the black and the red. That differentiates it to be the Carbon Pro, okay? Because normally it's like a chrome polish color. The other thing too, there's the badging here again, but is these black exhaust tips, which I really like. Now, they normally would come with like a polished type, not quite chrome, but a kind of a polished exhaust tip. But of course, we're talking about the Carbon Pro Edition, and what makes it stand out and what makes it the Carbon Pro Edition is actually right behind that tailgate. All right, but before we go behind and look in the box of this truck, I want to show you these right here. These are a new board that just came out for 2021. These are called the AT4 high clearance boards. And I love them because they are giving you exactly like it says, high clearance. They're a thinner board, they're higher up. And what I love, I don't know if you can tell in the video here, but they have like that rhino line or rock guard finish to it. So they're gonna hold up very, very well. That is something new for this year that I absolutely love. By the way, as I'm going to lower this tailgate, the tailgate in and of itself is that awesome GMC Multi-Pro tailgate that you get on the AT4 Carbon Pro Edition. And if you haven't watched the video, I've done a number of videos on it. Not to mention, I've even done one on the Chevy Multi-Flex tailgate, which you can check out. But of course, what it does, obviously, it comes down in different sections. It's a 6-position tailgate, and it is just purely awesome. But here is what makes this Carbon Pro different. This is a carbon composite, yes, carbon fiber, carbon composite box. And there's a number of different things that make this amazing. First and foremost, I don't know if you can tell this, but the way that it's cut up in here, right, gives you more cargo volume than an already class-leading cargo volume in the back, up to 1 more cubic foot, which is, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it is, because we're already leading the class when it comes to this. By the way, we are looking at a 5'8" box in this particular truck, okay? Now, the other thing I like is, see those divots up there in the front? That's if you have a motocross bike or a street bike or even maybe a bicycle with a fat tire. You can lock the bike up right in there, and there's actually 2 additional tie downs up there that we don't have in the other trucks. You're still getting 3 tie downs on the corners there, on every other corner, okay? So you're still getting those. You still have the awesome power outlet back here that does power, a power tool spotlight, and you have the LED lights down here as well. But there's some other cool differences that make this carbon box awesome, despite the fact that it has some more capabilities and more size. It is 25% lighter, so up to roughly 60 pounds lighter than your traditional box. That is a massive difference. To shave 60 pounds off a truck, that is huge. And another cool thing, well, and part of the weight too is because now you don't need a spray and liner, right? You don't need a box liner, spray and liner, bed mat, because this is scratch and dent resistant for the most part. In fact, actually, here's a cool story. General Motors, in their testing of this back in before 2019 when they released it, put a sled in the back, a snowmobile. So for my Northern Ontario friends up here in Sault Ste. Marie, you're going to relate to this. It had, of course, on the back of the snowmobile, on the track, the metal studs. They put a 250-pound driver on it and ran it at full throttle in the back, and it only had some minor scratching. That is massive. That would tear up a box liner or even ruin a spray and box liner, or of course your studs obviously as well. But that is a cool story that shows the durability of this thing too. They dropped 1,000-pound cinder blocks on this thing, like crazy testing they did. They even tested it in Yuma, Arizona and Kapuskasing, Ontario for hot and cold temperatures, and it's held up to just about anything they can throw at it. One other really cool thing I like about it too though is right here, the fact that you don't need wheel liners back here now, because it's not steel. It's not metal back here anymore. It's plastic, right? So you don't need the wheel liners up inside there. So that's another additional, cost savings and weight savings that you don't need. So that is what makes this Carbon Pro different. Now, for those of you who want to keep on watching, I am going to go inside the truck and show you some of the other cool features that are offered with this AT4. One of the other things I forgot to mention, by the way, is right here. The cameras that are all over this thing. This thing has tons of cameras. There's one up the front. You got one up in there. You got them under the mirrors. You got a couple right up here. One's for the bed view camera. One is for the rear vision camera mirror. And you've even got one, of course, off the tailgate for your backup camera. And by the way, that is a pin light for the hitch, not another camera, but tons of cameras around this thing. And it'll give you a bird's eye surround vision view over the top of it as well. Really, really cool tech in this AT4. How you doing up there, Maddox?
Good.
Comfortable up there, eh?
Yeah.
Although the little guy is going to be sitting back here when he does come into this truck because obviously he's too small to sit in the front. But there's some really cool features in the back seat. First and foremost, tons of room. So if you do have little ones like I do, it is nice because you have lots of room in the back for your passengers. There's some other pretty cool things here too. Storage in the back of the seats. That comes down, here, I'll show you here, as an armrest with cup holders in it. You even have, if they're not in booster seats or car seats, you have an actual adult passenger back here, somebody bigger. You have heated rear seats, USB, USB-C, vents back here. A lot of cool things. You have the sliding rear window back here, of course, as well. This is obviously leather trim. So it's black leather with what they call the Kalahari trim to it, which I really like. And the baseball stitching there. Classy. When you lift that seat up, you have a cool little storage area down here, if you can see that, which, obviously will keep some things in place. And the all-weather floor liners from General Motors and GMC, which I really like. They actually come apart here in the middle, so you can take off either side and hose it off. And next, we're going to go in the front. All right, so here we are in the cockpit of the Carbon Pro AT4. And like the Denali, as I mentioned when we were outside, you're getting much more of a digital display. You're not going to see that on any other Sierras other than the Denali and the AT4. You're still going to have the analog gauges there on the outside. We have navigation in this truck, so what's really cool about it is, I don't know if you can see here, but that little block there, because of the navigation, when you are on the highway or on some major roads, that'll actually show you the speed limit where you are because it's linked in with the navigation, which I really like. Of course, you're going to have trailer mode. You can have a couple different modes here, like sport mode, tour, off-road mode, I should say, normal mode, sport mode. So you can put it in different modes, and of course you can put it in your tow haul mode there as well. That's all done by the dial. You have the auto-track four-wheel drive system, of course, auto 4 high, 4 low, 2-wheel drive. And by the way, the 4 low comes in because you have the X31 package that comes with the AT4. All right, some other lighting options here. Of course, you can actually light up the box, which is pretty cool. It actually lights up in behind the box, which I didn't show you. There's actually a camera on the tailgate. I did another video on that. So there's a camera on the tailgate, but beside there's an actual light, and that's how you turn that light on, and lights right down on one of your hitches, which is pretty cool. In the AT4, because it's going to be a pretty loaded truck, you can, of course, have the memory seats. You're going to have heated steering wheel, tons of safety features that work with a haptic seat. By the way, a haptic seat means it vibrates. So if there's somebody, on your blind spot you don't see, and you have blind spot monitor warning, if you can tell, but out there in the mirror as well. 8-inch color touchscreen, all right? And it's going to have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto there, as you can see. What's really cool, though, is it's wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I can set my phone down there, and it'll charge it, and it'll mirror some of the apps from my phone, including my nav, right up there on the screen. Of course, separate climate control for your driver passenger, push button start, obviously your keyless entry, heated and ventilated seats. Again, there's some more of your safety features. It has stop-start technology because, again, with this diesel, you're going to get the stop-start technology with the motor. You can actually turn that feature off if you don't like it. There's that hill descent control that I spoke to earlier. That, by the way, is the power button for the back. Remember I showed you in the back, in that box, there's the power outlet. That is what powers that. Another really cool feature, something that General Motors came out with, is this, the HD rear vision camera mirror. So see, now when I'm at a regular mirror, now it's a camera. It's a wider field of view, and you can adjust the brightness of it. You can adjust zooming in and out, and you can also adjust the height of it as well. So some cool things you can adjust. Normally you're going to see a sunroof for one of these, but for whatever reason, we didn't trim this one out with the sunroof, but you can get the sunroof option in this. And of course, the big center console down here. So those are some of the cool features on the inside here of the Carbon Pro. Of course, again, the Bose stereo system. Obviously the Kalahari trim up here as well. And what I really like is the kind of carbon fiber trim that goes with what? Carbon Pro, right? So that, my friends, is the 2021 Carbon Pro Duramax Sierra AT4. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. Please comment below as to what you think of this awesome 2021 Sierra.